this is how I changed my hair color for cosplay without totally destroying my hair. I figured it was time for an explanation because I've been getting a lot more comments from people who are afraid that I'm constantly bleaching my hair, which I would never do. One thing people don't know about me is that I was a physiology major and I even did a whole lab on how bleaching your hair affects the tensile strength of your hair, which meant I also had to learn about hair on the molecular level, so I'm fully aware of what bleaching does. So we have three things at play here which creates this illusion: hair wax, batch filming, and editing. I mainly use Mofajong hair wax. It's cheap, easily accessible, works well, and washes right out. And depending on the color hair wax that I'm using, I might layer it with hair chalk or hair shallow powder to increase the intensity of the color and make it show up better on camera. And if I'm working with white, I'll use white hair colorant. So hair wax can damage and dry out your hair if it's not removed properly, but a lot less than bleaching your hair. And I've only bleached my hair 2 times in my entire life. And unfortunately, there were some mishaps the second time around, so even though we got to the correct type of blonde, I did have damaged hair for the first time in my life. But other than that, my hair is pretty healthy. So I've only ever had blonde hair or black hair, but since I like to film a lot of videos at once or batch film, I can see how it's really confusing. Sometimes it can take me 1 to 2 hours to style my hair for a character, so if I'm cosplaying a character that has colored hair, I'll take a chunk of the day or the entire day to make content for them. Then I'll just edit the photos and videos whenever I want, which is sometimes a year plus later. Sometimes I'll also plan my content so that it flows together and I can do the most amount of characters with the least amount of effort. For example, in this video I grew a mustache, styled my hair, cosplayed Hakari, shaved, added white hair colorant, cosplayed Inamaki, added white hair wax and styled my hair, did Gojo, and then I called it a day. Then a few days later I applied dark hair wax to the bottom half of my head, and then pink hair wax and white hair colorant to the top half of my head, and washed it out when I was all done. So now I have 4 different hair colors with 4 different hairstyles without overwashing, without applying too much product, and without taking too much time. And to really sell it, occasionally I do use editing to touch up my hair. I do this a lot more with photography since it's easier to have a nice mask and be more tedious with a photo, but as my editing gets better, I can sometimes do some video edits where I make my hair whiter or pinker or whatever. The funny / slightly annoying thing is that sometimes people will just automatically start telling me how to change my hair color like I don't edit all the time. And it's extra ironic because I can't even tell when I've done it because my work is just that clean sometimes. I really like that purple hair guy that you cosplay. You should cosplay him a lot more. Thanks, I like him too. I just don't feel like changing my hair color all the time. You know, you don't have to use hair wax. You can change your color in post and editing. You can green screen, you can mask, you can apply filters. Regardless, I do try to rely on editing my hair as little as possible, because the more you manipulate things, the uglier and less realistic it gets. And that means more work, which means more time, which means more frustration, which means a lot of things. And that's the secret to how my hair color is constantly changing. Although it wasn't really meant to be a secret, I just forgot it's the internet, so you don't know me and I don't know you. And lastly, I get a lot of requests for doing hair tutorials, but I can't do it all. So go check out my mutual, the Yondan. They do a lot of hair tutorials, especially for black hair, and their other content is fantastic as well.